Hi, good evening, everyone. We start in 1 minute. Let us start now. Good evening and warm welcome to Brother Johan and brothers and sisters around the globe to Wondrous Lotus Sutra discussion this Friday evening. Before we start, let us invite Brother Joe to lead us in paying homage to MunJen. Let us pay our respects for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen by making 3 sincere vows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. So this evening we have Brother PS. We 2 sharers, Sister MunJen and Dr. Kimmy in this Wondrous Lotus Sutra discussion with Brother Joe. Yeah, okay. Let us hand over to Brother PS. Yeah, Brother PS, over to you.
Thank you, Sister Lily. Very good evening to brothers and sisters in Dharma. Good evening, Brother Joe, and all the Sangha back in since the Abbot. Right. I'm glad that this evening we have an opportunity again to share some of our thought. Myself, personally, I was just recently very engrossed into this particular song. So I asked a special permission from Sister Siu Ching if I could actually share this. And then she said she was gladly telling me that this is okay, that you can divert a little bit from the Wondrous Lotus Sutra and then try to make it a little bit different with this particular song. What I'm going to share with you this evening is basically the lyrics. Unfortunately, this is sang in Mandarin, but of course we have all the song which is being translated with all the wordings in English. This song was actually very recently made very familiar to us due to the Tima Convention, and then it was together with all the silent mantles, and then it touched everybody, right? And then personally, when the first time when I listened to it, I couldn't comprehend what was being sang until that is after a couple of times when they really listened to the details, and I was so touched and impressed. And as I thought that the lyric itself full of a dharma, and I thought that I will only able to make justice to the what is being presented, and then by sharing to more people of this particular song. This song was also composed by Sister Zhang, and it was the lyrics was written by Sister Zhang Hui Mei, and then the song was written by Brother Shi. That is actually way back in 2004 for the Tzu USA, California, to raise funds to purchase a Tima mobile clinic truck. And if for everybody's curiosity, the composer of the lyrics she's actually a Tzu volunteer, and she's a monthly publication writer, the Tzu Beacon, and she's also one of the members who sings choir in this particular episode, right? So probably for those that has not heard of this song, I'm just going to play a a short part in the front part of this particular song. Hope that you'll focus on the bottom of the lyrics and see if you could comprehend. And I'm going to take you through phrase by phrase after this. Let's pause here. Brothers and sisters, I'm so glad that this evening I managed to invite two very experienced Tzu volunteers and they are so willingly accept my invitation to come and help me to tell some story and to witness what the lyrics is trying to express. So I'll first take everybody through first with this some of the beginning. So this song starts with this lyric says, "Time drifts on between each breath for you and I." So Master Cheng is saying that life is about breathing in and out. Once it stops, it means that the starting of another life. And each day, there are 86,400 seconds, and we must live every second in each day to the fullest. The original Mandarin word here actually literally means that they say time drifts, but it actually means roaming around, roaming about, or wandering around. In fact, this is what we are doing. We wasted too much time roaming about and wandering about without clear direction in life. We love freedom, and yet we're attached to all sorts of nice things, food, prestige, right? So this is the first phrase that I could echo it with this explanation. The song goes on with the second para, says that when your destination arrives, have your dreams gone to rest? Well, first of all, we know that not everyone has a chance to arrive at the destination. Many either aborted or interrupted abruptly, right? Whichever it is, when the moment arrives, are we able to rest at peace and at ease? This is going to be the challenge for every one of us. And we always thought that the destination as the end of our life. But actually, it is not just that. In Ziji, we witness many volunteers after going through certain episodes in life or having opportunity to listen to Master's wisdom, they start to discover purpose of life and decide to take a different approach in their life. At this point, those greed, hatred, and ignorance would just begin to rest and start to discover the higher purpose of life to live on. So this is another explanation of my personal understanding about what this para is trying to express. We go on in the third para. It says that body and mind worn out between each sunset and sunrise. Our body and mind are so occupied each day, and energy is drained to go after something that doesn't really belong to us eventually. Ironically, we are so worn out that we don't have time to work on the wisdom life that is going to be with us life after life, right? So that is this para has actually a very good precaution to every one of us. We'll move on to the next para. When calamity strikes, will then your heart return home? This is such a beautiful verse here. Literally, in the Mandarin word, it actually means that when the judgment of impermanence arrives, or when it pronounced as the moment of impermanence, would your heart return home? Question here is return to which home? Home I imply here as a state that is peaceful and calm and at ease. At that very moment, are we able to keep our heart at tranquil, right? That will be our challenge. And secondly, as a Ziji volunteer, our heart is always close to Jingzi Abbot. When calamity strikes, will our heart be at ease? And will we be with Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha? Right? I move on with the next phrase. It says that as one act after another plays out, unfamiliarity of non-existence, seeking and searching, how to link pearls on broken strings, how to sing the missing notes. These three verses actually describe our daily lives. Every other moment, we are dealing with new person, new situation, and new things. They all sound familiar and repetitive, but every encounter is just different. Master taught us that beyond the daily chores, the simple truth is non-existence and emptiness. But we continue to seek and search for more mundane satisfaction, or we have discovered the true journey of ourselves. That is the question that we get to ask ourselves. We keep finding how to link the pearls on the broken string. But here as a Ziji volunteer, we actually have the responsibility to string up all these pearls, not be the one that is letting the pearls that just scattered everywhere, that we got to own up and be responsible for that. And how do we sing with the missing notes, especially during the disaster strikes, right? It all begins with us when everybody is crying for the life that lost and for all the properties that this is vanished. No matter how sorrow the song is, we are Tzu Chi volunteer and we are there to sing with them. So that really echoes very much in terms of how to sing the missing notes, right? As we move on, the song asks 2 times, if tomorrow were your next life, how would you spend your life today? Every day we go to sleep, when we wake up, it is like the beginning of another life. It is all in our hand, how we choose to live today and live in this moment. If this is a sorry or thank you that I have yet to say, I make sure that I say before it is too late. If there is love that I want to express, I will make sure I do before I go to sleep, because tomorrow it could be just next life. I will continue this part with the 2 special guests to express, to help us to illustrate with their life example, right? Especially this particular verse, it says that use warmth to safeguard life from within. And let each wave leave its trace behind. I'm so glad that Dr. Lee, Kimmy Lee, for those that might not know her, she was actually in Tzu Chi for many years. That she started with Tzu Qing, right? And then subsequently she pursued her study in local universities, and then today she's even pursuing as a family doctor. She's a practicing doctor, and she's currently dialing in from Kelantan, which is at the border of Malaysia with Thailand. Without further ado, can I invite you, Dr. Lee?
Hi, thanks, Brother PS. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Yishen, Kimmy. Hello. Yeah, I'm currently working at a health clinic in Kelantan. Yeah, so I'm start my sharing now. Okay. Yeah. So actually, being as a doctor, I feel blessed that I'm able to see Dharma in my daily life. Buddha has told us that we have 8 sufferings in our life. The suffering of birth, aging, illness, and death are the first 4 sufferings that I see almost every day. Yeah, even though I am not working in a hospital setting, I still have the chances to see the cases where I need end-of-life care, because I receive a few cases referred from Tzu Chi volunteer. Okay, so I would like to share a real story about Madam Lee, who was referred to me recently. Actually, our volunteers noticed that Madam Lee during the home visit, she actually was suffer with whole body discomfort. She has difficulty in breathing. She can't even sit on the chair. She has to lie down, and she has excessive loss of weight. She only left with currently about 22 kilo, and yet she refused to go to any hospital for checkup. So the reason being was she was afraid of COVID infection, and actually she was not vaccinated yet. On top of that, she has family conflict in which she left her husband and children in KL. So she went back to her hometown. Tzu Chi volunteers arranged a Zoom meeting with us TIMA members, including me and Madam Lee. After the consultation, we managed to convince her, and she finally agreed for checkup, and she underwent CT scan. At last, she was admitted to the hospital on the day of CT scan, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Okay, so doctors in the hospital told her that there's no cure. She is really sad and could not accept and turned to us for help, asking us to recommend other doctors. Actually, I know that the doctor she has been seeing is already I would say a subspecialist who is specialized in her case. So looking at her condition, the only doctor that I can recommend her is actually palliative care doctor, but I didn't make the offer. So under these circumstances, many wish to extend the life by spending time on like chemotherapy, radiotherapy, whatsoever therapy, but not realizing this maybe will worsen the condition. The patient maybe will suffer with the side effects of chemotherapies like vomiting, and maybe she will be being weak to endure her last moment of her life, or continue to hope if there's a miracle that she would recover. So actually, I'm so tempted to ask her, what would you really wish in your life? If it is for the best of health, for what purpose? Do we able to fulfill her wish? If the mind is not able to set free from the suffering body, she will be constantly trapped there, and that will waste the remaining precious time she has, right? So sometimes I will just tell my patient, look, how sure are you that I will live longer than you? Because they will say, doctor, you are so young, you have no cancer, you have no disease, don't have any disease. You will live longer than me, of course. But I will ask, what if after I finish this conversation with you, I might meet with an accident and die on the spot? It's definitely possible. So whose life is shorter now? You must remember that there's something called impermanence in life. So we must live our life to the fullness. So as a doctor, my mission is to heal, to cure, or to prevent a disease. This is my duty. However, after becoming Tzu Commissioner Doctor, I realized that quality of life is much important. And I really wish to educate my patient to live every moment happily and meaningfully. As what Master said, we cannot control the length of life, but we can strive to expand its depth and scope. This is the Jingshi aphorism by Master Chen Yan. So actually now I'm still waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, and right affinity to discuss with Madam Lee. Yeah, this is my sharing for today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. Yeah, so indeed, it's such a short message from you, but it brings so much of the depth for us to ponder upon. So okay, let's see. That will probably really bring out that what is this phrase really says that use the warmth to safeguard the life from within and let each wave leave its trace behind. So the next clause is use mindfulness to protect well-being and let the wheel of life be given light. Invite the Sister MunJen to share with us this phrase. Sister MunJen.
Hi, good evening, everyone, brothers and sisters. Thank you, PS, for giving me this opportunity. All right. Well, just now Dr. Lee mentioned about life of impermanence. Let's look at the next slide. Well, life is impermanent because moments comes and goes, day pass, turning into weeks and months. But our life is always constantly changing. Nothing is permanent. Because of my scope of work in cancer support, I always see life passes on, especially this year with impact of COVID. Well, there's nothing that, and it's undenying that each of us will experience challenges of our well-being over which we cannot control. But if we are able to face these situations, knowing that nothing is permanent, then we are more likely to appropriately handle and overcome them. Becoming aware of the impermanence of all situations, it actually fuels my passions in cancer support. I learned to see from another angle. Impermanence could be a precious gift. Everything vanishes. Hence, there is nothing more important than continue my bodhisattva life path with diligence. That's why I always think that it gives us a sense of urgency that we must seize every precious moment. Next slide. Well, what should I do? Use mindfulness to protect well-being. In cancer support, we play a role in comforting the patient, family, especially when impermanence strikes. All the emotions surface: fear, loss, anger, pain, and some even chose to totally shut off from others. There's a stage of denial that they say we didn't get cancer. But what we can do as a caring team in cancer support, we actually serve the purpose as their listening ears. This CARE is actually my guided principle. C means caring. When we reach out to the patient, and it has to be timely, honestly. When they are devastated, if we can reach out, we are like, I remember that patient told me that we are like something that floating in the sea that they can actually hold on to. So it has to be timely. A means assuring. While we are trying to relieve their pain or fear and give them the assurance to tell them that you are not alone, because we accompany you in this challenging journey. R means responsible. Well, we are responsible to say some kind words, doing the right things at the right time. And the last is empathize. You really have to feel the emotions and wear their shoes. A lot of times we forget. We actually tell people, don't worry lah, tomorrow will be better. Is that true? When they are in great pain, you can't do that. You can actually say, share their view and say, you look worried or you sound worried. Is there anything I can help? Would you like to share with me? Something in that sense. That's why it's actually trying to guide me to be a better person in caring as a cancer patient. Next slide. Okay. These are the cancer patients and survivors that we actually have a lot of activities. And I think I'm going to tell you this special story of our sister Sue Kim Moy. Right. Do you have the slide on Sue Kim Moy or no? Okay, yeah. When calamity strikes, with that your heart return home. Back in 6 to 7 years ago, Kim Moy was referred to me by Dr. Ivan Xu, our very dedicated, oncologist at cancer support group. I remember that she was devastated and could not accept the life of impermanence. She told me she'd rather commit suicide. Well, that's why Dr. Ivan Shiu thinks that CSG can help her. After joining the CSG, she was motivated and inspired by those cancer patients who shared the story, because she said, I'm not that bad after all. Because she saw a brain cancer patient, Zhongzi, still insists to attend our activity at Kelana Jaya, even though he was wheelchair bound and hardly can utter a word. Because Zhongzi has been with CSG, and even with the last day, he thought that that is a very good platform for everybody to come together. And he just wants to show his determination and his, how should I say that? He's really feel that he wants to be with us. Well, with that, and Kim Moy is really amazing. I mean, she stayed in Seramban. That were probably about 1.5 hours to come to Kelana Jaya. But without fail, every month she will come to our CSG with her husband, and also she would actually bring some other cancer friends along as well. Her positive and, persistent always warm the air of CSG. She picked up her old Chiji uniform and decided to follow master footsteps. She was involved in Chiji charity, preparing vegetarian food, promoting Jingsi products despite the body condition. She amazed me a lot because she can drive all the way from Seramban to go to Tongshin Hospital to go for a treatment, radiotherapy, and then she went back to Seramban, continue with her home visit charity work. She told me she was fighting for lost time, as she did join Chiji before, but because of her family commitment and her small business, she chose the priority to raise the family, and she lags behind in Chiji. And now with this cancer striking her, she has to do something. And she really wanted to join. She joined back the diligent classes, and she really wanted to go back to Taiwan for commissioning in 2018. Let's see. Your of hers.
我的人生是照顾别人， 照顾弱势。
我永远慈济人的这个精神，工作到最后一天。
感恩上人创造慈济世界，让我们这双手能够去救更多的人。
In May 28, 2018, 20 days before she passed on, she sent me a note. She actually told me, MunJen Sijie, I'm not giving up, but my body is giving away. But sister, I will definitely come back again. I make a vow that in my next life, I will work hard in all of Tzu Chi missions, especially in mission of humanistic culture. In this life, what I regret most is that I have done too little on Tzu Chi Bodhisattva path. Yep, next slide. That lead us to past life, this life or next life, right? Well, Master and Jingse Shifu always quoted many stories of a young toddler. They have great respect and affinity toward Master, even at this young age. I remember in October 25th, where the episode of the Sutra 892, I think Master mentioned a young child called Lo Weizhe. Okay, and he followed the parents to listen to the wisdom at dawn. And the parents asked him whether you can understand. And he said yes. Well, the parents is amazed because Master speak in Hokkien, right? And he hardly can understand. But he actually proved the parents wrong. He actually draw out whatever he can understand in a little book. So now, recently, you can see this young toddler again called Guo Yimian. He loved Master a lot and he respects Master. What does it tell us? Brothers and sisters, I'm sure in your heart, you know the answer. Yeah, in our past life, you're probably doing something good and has the affinity yin yuan with Master. And this life, we all meet in a Tzu Chi family. What about our next life? Are we doing enough so that we can follow Master life after life? Well, 2 days ago, our Jingse Sifu shared a story which is very interesting. He actually told us that there's a dog. And whenever he listened, the dog listened to a song sung by a particular singer. That dog will be in peace and he doesn't play his toys anymore. and numerous tests. The owner can't believe it, and there's a lot of tests has been done, and they really confirmed that the dog would be at peace when the song was sung. Looks like, you know, the dog past life is a man, and he probably liked that song very much. Now I'm asking myself, is master voice always constantly inside my 8 consciousness? Well, are we listening and doing enough so that we can follow master next life, life after life? Well, next slide. Well, in our cancer support, we will try to shower sunshine and love on the patient so that they face up the challenges and stand up high. Well, we have to light up our light, not only the light, but the light in our heart, so that we can initiate the light of heart in others. Time is ticking away as we sit and chat. One day has gone past. In less than 45 days, we have to say sayonara to 2021. While looking at the 300 plus days, have we added value in our life? Or are we still pondering what directions are we heading to? I always tell myself, seize every moment I can. I think yesterday, the Jingse Shifu also said that last time, Master always thought that about tomorrow, plan what ought to be done in tomorrow. But this time, in our year-end blessing, what she can think of is, can she finish the presentation smoothly and walk down the stage? Master just not sure about the next moment. And we always been reminded by Master, say that we have to be 盘点生命. Means that I asked Brother PS, he said that it's stock take our what have that we done in our life, you know how many things we have done. Actually, is add values into our life. Values are not things we achieve or possesses, but they are more like directions that we can take life in order to be in good person, and so that we have a meaningful existence. Each of us can be a firefly. I think when you heard a lot in our morning assembly, right? And give light in the dark sky. One person's light may be tiny, but if we have millions of light together, it can light up a galaxy, even the planet called Shiji. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give my little thoughts. Thank you. I really have phobia to talk in English in Dharma, honestly. My Dharma is very weak. Yeah. Thank you.
Sister MunJen and Dr. Lee, I think these are the two exemplary example, which is the used life. Dr. Lee has to say she was so inspired by the master's teaching and the example that she followed diligently until today, has never ceased the effort. Sister MunJen uses a life for information of Brother Joe. Sister MunJen was many years ago, she's a cancer patient, and in the same month, her husband and herself was diagnosed with cancer, and the husband couldn't make it, but she made it. And she doesn't just let her life disturbed by the disease that she has. She turned around and let the wheel of life be given light, not only on her own self, but also to the rest of others. And everybody is Sijie, and then I'll pass over to Brother Joe. And
okay, thank you, Brother P.S. Lee, and also thank you, Sister MunJen, and also Kimmy. Thank you for putting together today's very special session. I think today's lesson, if there is a word to describe the session, what would it be? Would it be life? Would it be death? Would it be cherish? Would it be time? How would you characterize what we have heard today? And how would you categorize what was said today? I really like how Brother PS brought up this song, if tomorrow were your next life. And I like how Sister MunJen actually said very towards the end, she said that in another 35 days, or so, 45 days, I'm sorry, 45 days, I'm ahead by 10 days. In another 45 days, we'll be saying goodbye to 2021. And that really made me think that, what if, instead of asking, what if tomorrow is your next life? What if you're asking yourself, was yesterday your previous life? And if yesterday was your previous life, what would you do today? What would you do to spend your day today? Are you a better person, or are you reborn today? Because I think all of us are different. All of us are different. But we have the same thing. What things do we have that is the same? We have the same 24 hours, right? And no matter who you are, no matter whether you're rich or poor, sick or healthy, tall or short, we have the same 24 hours. But we also have the same thing. We all have yesterday. Because if we didn't have yesterday, we wouldn't be here. The fact that we're all here means we have yesterday. Now, we also have, right now we're together, so we also have this moment, right now, today. Now, we don't know about tomorrow, and thinking about tomorrow, it's that word, if, because we don't know what's gonna happen. And so all of this, while thinking about tomorrow, it's really raising the prospect, raising the idea of what we're going to do today. But rather than sometimes looking ahead to see if the tomorrow is going to be your next life, perhaps we can look past to the things that we actually did. And I think that's something akin to what Master is saying, is to audit your own life, to think about what you have done, rather than to look into, oh, if tomorrow is my next life, but rather looking into, if yesterday was my previous life. Now, are you going to be a better person today, or are you going to do the same thing that you did yesterday? Did you learn anything from it? Or would today just be the continuation of yesterday? Which isn't so bad, because according to Master, that is how she felt, how she held steadfast for the past 6 decades on the same goal. So that's not so bad either, right? So I think thanks to Brother PS to use this song and really taking us through this one phrase at a time, one stanza at a time, and then listening to it. And thanks to Dr. Kimmy and also Sister MunJen to share with us the palliative care and also the end. I think when I saw the video, I think that was Madam Lee, right? That was Madam Lee. And
Madam Sue Kim Mon Sue.
Oh, Madam Sue, okay. And when I saw the video, I always picture myself. There was one thing that I fear. I don't know why, and I think many of us probably share the same thing, which is even though we all know that doing the silent mentor is the right thing and it's a good thing. It's turning, it's turning the waste into a gift. And but I always just think that, seeing if it were my parents, seeing my parents on that table being cut open, somehow I'm not over that threshold yet. It would be like what Sister MunJen said, right? In denial. I cannot accept it because I'm in denial that they no longer feel pain. And that would be how it is. But I think it's something that you feel so powerful because you know that it's end of life. And while Master is on the trip, and we see many people come for illness. They wanted to get the blessing of Master, and we see many people come because their loved ones have passed away recently. And we also hear from brothers and sisters. I think one of the cases that I remember really closely recently was that there was a brother Shi, who fell down while he was doing recycling. He was tying things onto the truck, and as many people have already gone through very similar things, we caution everybody to make sure that they put on a helmet. Unfortunately, since having done this so many times, the brother didn't do so. And when he fell, he hit his head, and afterwards he didn't think that it was bad because there was nothing, there wasn't any obvious problem, and he didn't want to go see a doctor. And eventually, the swelling of the brain was too much that it was so hurtful, and he began to foam at the mouth, and they had to send him to the hospital, and eventually passed away. What gathered was the Dharma family who came around and paid tribute, saying how the brother had brought so much to their team, and how he had cherished his life to do to walk on the Bodhisattva path. And that's what I think it was Madame Sue said, right? That the one thing that she regrets was that she didn't walk enough on the Tzu path. I don't even know if brother Shi had the chance to say that, and I don't even know if we are fortunate enough to, while our minds is still very clear and our path is certain, that we said that that's what we're going to do. We're going to come back firmly, okay? But so rather than looking into the unknown, which gives us fear, I wanted to look into what is already past, which is what we all share. We all share yesterday. We all had the same day yesterday. That was November 18th. We had it. If we write a diary about it today, about yesterday, then you know that you had it. And so you would assume that tomorrow will be there, but it might not be there. But we all know that we had yesterday. So what did we do yesterday? And do we learn something more? Do we learn something from it? By writing it down, maybe we learn something from it, and then we can apply it today. So that's what I think, that instead of asking what tomorrow is going to be, asking ourselves what yesterday had meant to us, and then are we doing anything about it today? Because that's something that we can do. I think the questions of life and death is always something that is it brings people down. But I think Master is telling us and teaching us to see the light. And so Master says that in that moment, and for everybody that had gone past or moved on, Master always think of it as that they are going to prepare the path for everybody to walk on. So while we remain here and they have left us to prepare a better tomorrow for us. And I think that was a very, no matter where we are and no matter what time zone we are, we're always and they're going there to do work first. And we're just tidying up things here. And that's what Master teaches, right? All the time. Whether it's in your past lifetime or the next lifetime, we're always and I think that was good. So one last thing I want to bring up. Master always says, and I don't question it, but I think more about this. Master always says that when your loved ones have moved on to the next life, what we do here is to not attach and to let him go, or let this relative or loved ones go. And the more we cry, the more we cry, and the more we are emotionally attached, then the more that that baby or the next life is going to be suffering, because there's something that's hold on to that life. And I wanted to think more about what does that mean? You know, what does that mean? The more that we and Master would always say that if you give your best wish to that person, then the very next life that he came to, that he's gonna be smiling, he's gonna be happy, and so everybody that saw him will come around and it will be greet him happily. And on the other hand, if you keep on crying and if you're sad over it, then that baby is going to be crying all the time and is not going to get anybody's caring, you know, nobody's love. And so I'm thinking, is that just a way of comforting, or it's actually how it is, how the emotion, the string of emotion is actually going through the dimensions of what we know as the boundaries of life and death. And the emotional attachment, the string, actually goes far, far, far. So even though we say that 万般带不去，唯有业随身, right? So you left this world taking nothing, yet someone in this world still holds a string onto you. And it's their choosing. See this, it's their choosing to let you go or not. You have no choice. You are over there and you're crying and you don't know why, because somebody here is still holding on to the string and it's still saying, I refuse to let you go. So maybe in this way, it's thinking that it is indeed 一切万般带不去. You didn't bring anything except the year that you had with that person, and they refuse to let go. So now you have nothing you can do, right? You'll be all of a sudden happy and all of a sudden start crying and you don't know why, because somebody there is crying about you. Perhaps I'm just trying to rationalize this because you know, it gets sad and I don't want to think about things that are too sad. So I try to rationalize this in a scientific method, try to think it through, try to rationalize it. But anyway, thanks to today, the 3 shares, it gives us a much insight into life and death, and also how we should cherish, and also how give us real stories and real life stories about how you spend the last days with people, how the other people have spent their last days with you, and how you help them. And I think through their lives, you probably see more of life than death. So I would like to go back to what Dr. Kimmy said. She said that she actually saw more death. And I don't know, I think maybe you saw more life than any one of us. And I think that's probably a blessing in disguise. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And then Brother Joe, right? And then Dr. Kimmy and Sister MunJen. I think this is really a lesson that is to see Brother Joe has taken us into the totally a different kind of a perspective, and then especially the 2 examples, and also instead of seeing death, we see life. This is a totally a different perspective again. And should I, okay, Sister Irene, you would like to give us, Sister Suchin?
感恩 Brother Joe, Brother PS, Sister MunJen, and Sister Kimmy for such wonderful sharing and insights. Really, it's not enough. Actually, as I'm hearing also, I also I must repent because so many wonderful sharers here. Definitely, there are so many wonderful stories. There are more wonderful stories. We would like to invite the wonderful group of sharers to share again on the Saturday platform when we have a longer session. And we look forward to more wonderful, very wonderful sharing.感恩 to all our great medicine bodhisattva. 感恩 to Brother Joe for always sharing very great guidance to us. 感恩 brothers and sisters for joining, and for your time. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Maybe would everyone like to take a group photo as a remembrance? Oh, 真的是 hearing the how less 40 over days remaining to year. I also a bit suddenly like so shocked. So few days going to year. Like it's like beginning of a new year. Come. Let's take a group picture. We like to keep this as treasury because the EG committee, they are also asking for pictures from us. So this will be a very good one to for storage. I think for year end as they are doing the collage. We hope to this to be included. Okay, can brothers and sisters on the video? We take a group photo. Okay, like sister boy. Okay, Sister Abby helping take group photo. Okay,
Done already.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. I hope that each of us could sustain this summer joy and take in another piece of love, master, and while and love to our life. Let us invite Brother Joe to lead us in paying 3 bows to the Buddha and Master Chen Yan as we depart to apply these teachings in our everyday life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life, universal truth. Palms together. First bow. Second bow. And third bow. And brothers and sisters, we look forward to tomorrow, seeing everyone tomorrow's session. There's also a Q&A. We know that last week, so sorry, at the end of the session, a lot of people raised their hands up, but the time's up. So hopefully tomorrow we will have more times for the live audience. And Brother Joe, tomorrow, Sunday still very early, Brother Joe. We will look forward to more sharings from Brother Joe.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you, all right.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, yeah, everyone stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
感恩 Sister MunJen, 感恩 Sister Kimmy.
Wonderful
surprise, Brother PS. 本来一个人，现在很棒。Wonderful surprise, 感恩。Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care.